Hi there, Diecast fans. What we have here is a 1988 Pontiac Trans Am GTA in 1:18 scale by Greenlight Collectibles. Now, this particular diecast model is based on the third generation of the Pontiac Firebird or Pontiac Trans Am, whatever you call it. It's priced around $67 and it's between the low ends and the high ends. Now, Greenlight introduced this on the market in 2011, as far as I know. Now, the quality of this diecast is a mixed bag. It's not too cheap, but not too expensive that you can line up with some high-end models because of the detail that they put onto it, which I will show you later. Now, a little bit of history about the Pontiac Trans Am. Now, this sleek-looking muscle car with a fastback body on it, it was built to compete with the likes of Ford Mustangs and Mercury Cougar, I think, and the Dodge Challenger during the late 60s and early 70s. Now, this is the third generation. It looks very much like a 1980s science fiction car with that pop-up headlight, the wraparound, all tail lights on the back, which I will show you later with the grid pattern on it. It really looks slick, and that iconic screaming chicken on the hood, or let's say a screaming phoenix, as they say. This particular generation of Pontiac Trans Am was very popular during the 1980s, especially when it comes to that TV series show Knight Rider. Now, some people easily mistaken this, especially with that black paint and that silhouette, that looks like Kit from the Knight Rider. Well, technically, yes and no. Kit was a different car by means of exterior and the interior and everything, but it shares the same platform as the third generation Pontiac Trans Am. Now, enough about the history and the gain popularity of the actual car itself. Let's dive into the exterior quality of this diecast. Let's start on the front part first. And look at that front part. It's got that glossy black paint. It's just flawless and very shiny at the same time. Really impressive by Greenlight right there. And you can also see the tiny little badge right there, the GTA with the screaming chicken on it. So it's got the screaming chicken on the hood and the screaming chicken on the badge on the bumper. Now, the bumper I think is made out of separate plastic there. And this is going to be the diecast on the side fender right there. And you can also see the fog lights there. It's got some ridges on the plastic bits on it. Really nice touch. And the amber turn signal, a separate plastic piece. Plus points for Greenlight. And all of those details are really good, but at some areas they chippen it out. Like for example, right there, the turn signal, besides the headlight well, is just a painted or they just slap a orange sticker on it just to imitate that's got a front signal light. So that's kind of a disappointing at the same time. And what's really more disappointing for me, I thought it's got a pop-up headlight right there. It looks like it's going to pop because it's got a separate piece right there. But no. So no pop-up headlight for this diecast. Maybe it will redeem itself for the engine detail under the hood. So let's open the hood itself using this prying plastic tool. And it's quite a bit heavy really. And you can see, now it's not a plastic slab compared to other low-end models. It's actually got an engine block below the car itself. So they didn't chippen out the engine detail itself. Yes, you could see some chipping at some areas, at some aspects or some parts. But still, it still looks like a V8 engine on it. So you could see the plastic labels on it, on the battery itself. I think this will be the fluid reserves for the engine bay. And you could see the air intake hose and the radiator. I think this is the radiator cap and so forth. And you could see also the valve covers on it and the air intake, and with that additional brake master cylinder right there. So lots of goodies and details onto the engine bay. They could have improved this, but it's still a very nice touch by Greenlight. So no pop-up headlight. That's a little bit of a letdown, but who can blame them? Oh well, maybe they can redeem themselves with this front tire or front alloy rims detail right here. So you could see again the orange amber turn signal right there, and the fender, well, really looks slick with that paint job. And you could also see the GTA badge right there. The GTA says Trans Am. Very nice with that gold finish on it. And that BBS inspired alloy rims. Now that's a stock rim where the car came out from the factory. It's not aftermarket. But it's got a chrome finish on the lipping on the alloy rims and that black glossy finish on inside of the alloy rims. Now the wheels and tires for this diecast really looks proportioned and really looks good at the same time. And I almost forgot, no brakes. There's no brake caliper nor disc brakes. So don't expect a disc brakes or brake calipers from both wheels. Now moving on to the rear wheels and rear quarter panel. Very slick, shiny gloss paint. Very nice. And you could also see the chrome finish for the door handle and that silver painted keyhole. And you can also see the tiny screaming chicken on the B pillar right there. It's a sticker, so be careful when you try to clean the diecast model. And of course, let's go to the wheels. Same treatment and same finish as the front area. So chrome lipping right there and the gloss black on the mid part of the alloy rims, and of course the tires right there. So it's very nice touch by Greenlight Collectibles. I have to say the rear part of this diecast really stands out. It really looks good and slick at the same time. Now there's a little bit of disappointment again on the approach, how they build the taillights right there. Now it's just a drawing. It really looks fake. It's really unconvincing, but they still provided a screaming chicken on the middle right there and a third brake light on the spoiler, as you can see. Now you can see the bumper right there. Slick black paint, that's always a compliment to them. And the 4 tailpipes right there. And of course, let's not forget the Hotbird license plate that this car came from New York. Now let's take a look on the interior detail of the trunk right there. So the tailgate is quite light because it's made out of plastic. The entire thing is made out of plastic. They just painted it with the black paint right there. And of course, Greenlight also provided you, since this is a GTA model, it has a spoiler on it. So very nice touch by Greenlight right there. So we lift the very lightweight tailgate right there, and you can see the carpeting detail on the trunk itself and some additional plastic parts on it. And you could also see the latch right here. They also painted it for additional detail. And of course the rear seats. Now moving on to the interior detail of this diecast. Now Greenlight built these very nice hinges on the doors right here. Now they don't use the typical dogleg hinges like other diecast manufacturers. It is actually just a small hinge. So opening this diecast with that door really looks realistic at the same time. And for the interior detail, you can see the carpeting is made out of fabric right there. And of course this is the seats and the seat belts with a separate buckle on it, so you can see there. And the steering wheel with lots of painted buttons on it, and the pinnacle where you can locate, or the dashboard where you can locate the speedometer and the tachometer at the same time. And since this had an automatic transmission, so you could see the gear lever there, there's not much painted parts on the interior, but at the same time well detailed for its price. And I almost forgot that this diecast model has a well detailed headliner right there, and the buttons right there on the center console right there, overhead console. It really looks nice. It really looks fantastic. Now going to the right side passenger of this diecast model, so you could see there the center console right there, and the shift lever for the automatic transmission, and the e-brakes right there. And of course, I think that on the middle will be the climate control or the audio system of this car. They just painted it with gray colors on it. The entire thing has a gray color on the interior with a combination of black paint on it, especially when you see, look at that, the glove compartment right there. But still, Greenlight provided you with the Screaming Chicken badge on the right side right there. And of course, don't forget the seatbelt and the buckle right there. And hey, let's not forget about the trendy rising up antenna, which is popular back then. So you can see there on the right fender side, well, it doesn't go up, but it's there as an additional detail by Greenlight. Now for those who are curious what's underneath the diecast model, so let's flip the diecast over and let's take a peek. So you could see the front suspension there and the rack and pinion system, I think, and you could also see the oil pan for the engine block right there, the transmission and the transmission fluid pan right there. You could see the exhaust system, the catalytic converter, and the floor pans. Really does have that sleek satin gray look on it. Really looks good, and the finish is really great and fantastic at the same time. So you could see the trailing arm for the suspension system, and since this is a rear wheel drive car, you could see the propeller shaft and the axle, and let's not forget the dual exhaust system with 4 tips on it and the gas tank. So what's my take on this diecast model? Now, for the price that you pay for around $67 back in 2012, this is a fantastic and well-detailed diecast model. Even this entire silhouette of this car easily recognized that it is a Pontiac Trans Am GTA, especially with that Screaming Chicken right there. But then again, like I said before, this is not a perfect diecast model with the questionable detailing on it. For example, of course, I really love the pop-up headlights. If this does, I can compromise other things, but since they never did it, that's for me to take. And of course, the amber signal lights right there, and especially the tail light, it's really kind of disappointing, and it should have been the pinnacle or the super extra features for this diecast. Now, all of that things that I just said, this is still a great looking, a very well detailed diecast model. So if you're a classic muscle car fan, or just love Pontiac brands, or you just love a sleek looking muscle car with a Screaming Chicken on the hood right there, well, that's one of my reasons why I got also this diecast model. Well, the Greenlight Collectibles will not disappoint you. This diecast model really looks good. It looks sleek, especially with that paint job. Now, disregarding all the negatives that I've just said and the questionable detailing of this diecast, this is still a very desirable diecast model you could ever own. So guys, thank you for watching, and I hope this video entertains you and helps you at the same time. And have a nice day.